Thank you for joining me again today, everyone. Today I'd like to have a really good look at a very rare perfume from the Chanel stable. In fact, it might be the rarest of them all. It was created in 1932 by Ernest Beaux, and when we look at the 1920s and 30s, we think of that Art Deco era, a time after the Great War where we were making advancements in new technologies and we were excited again. We were traveling. Far-flung landscapes like the Orient or Northern Africa were very exotic and very alluring. And it was at that time that many perfumers saw travel and those far-flung lands as a great inspiration for their perfumes. We saw it in fragrances such as Jean Patou's Normandie, we saw it in En Avion by Caron, and Vol de Nuit sous le Vent by Guerlain. Gabrielle Chanel was no different. She wanted to capitalize on that interest in travel at the time, and she launched Ivoire after Chanel No. 5 a few years earlier. Ivoire obviously means ivory, and it actually did pay homage to the ivory trade. In this day and age, of course, we frown upon that. We no longer want animals to be exploited for their parts. And that's been outlawed since the 1950s. Examples of Ivoire are very rare to come across, and I strongly believe that in the 1950s they would likely have been stripped from shelves and destroyed. Only one or two examples exist in museum collections, and it's quite a rarity in this day and age. As far as the fragrance is concerned, it's got a very interesting sort of complex composition. It has a very early synthetic molecule called Iralia in its makeup. Now, Iralia was created by Firmenich way back in the day, and it mimicked the odors of both violet and orris or iris root. So it lends a wonderful soft powdery texture. It also has aldehyde, ylang ylang, there's carnation, lilac, jasmine, there's rose absolute, which is wonderful. And all of these things steep over a base including incense, opoponax, vetiver, there's sandalwood of the Mysore variety, oak moss, vanilla and musk. So it does have a wonderful complexity. Unlike many other Chanels that we come to know, Ivoire is a little denser. The only fragrance from the Chanel portfolio that I can liken it to is Chanel No. 46, which I've also reviewed on my channel here. But that doesn't really help a lot because not a lot of people have smelled No. 46. Suffice to say, it's a little more mature and richer than many of the other Chanel fragrances we know of today, even some of the heritage ones. Ivoire is a fantastic relic of the past, and it's good that it stays in the past. I don't think we need to revisit, obviously, the animal themes and animal aspect of this perfume, but I feel it would be wonderful if Chanel might reorchestrate it for the Les Exclusifs collection. I think it does have a point of difference that's quite different to any of the other Les Exclusifs in that collection. So if you do come upon a bottle of Ivoire, I would highly recommend you buy it. It is a museum piece. In fact, I've been approached by several people from different foundations asking if I can send them a sample so that they might run it through a gas spectrometer. It's that rare, but unfortunately with shipping restrictions here in Australia, it's quite impossible to send anything out of the country, so I haven't been able to oblige. Now, this fragrance was touted at the time in press after its launch as being too sharp. A lot of people said it's too sharp for us. No. 5 with its aldehydic punch, in the top notes, was sharp enough for them, and they found that this was taking it to a next level. Now, I don't get a lot of sharpness from this, I think possibly because the bergamot top notes have receded over the last 80 or 90 years. But it does have that wonderful, complex, dense, floral, resinous, sort of musky, oak mossy base. It is a wonderful perfume in its own right. Let's do away with the harming the animals, but let's celebrate what Chanel did bring, even if it was here only for a short time. If you've got any comments or questions about Chanel Ivoire, leave them in the comment form below. I'd love to read them. And if you'd like to hit share and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, and you'll be updated as to when I upload new material. Thank you for joining me today and taking a look at this very rare Chanel unicorn. Until next time, I'll see you then.